And we are live, at least. I hope so.
Fingers crossed. We appear to be, though.
I was doing something that it's like, is this working? Well, what did we say on a at noon time? Good noon, good afternoon. Is it an afternoon?
Yeah.
Again, this is episode 31 with Toni Weel and Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns. I always love that name. Saying name, Virtuous Unicorns. That was one of my first tattoos, a unicorn on my shoulder.
Yeah, unicorns have always been my love.
Yeah.
For as far back as I can remember. We had these things in school. They're like trapper keepers and folders, and Lisa Frank was a big designer of those back then. And everyone that was a unicorn or even just a horse, I always had. So
in the Netherlands, you didn't see it that much, so I don't know what I had with unicorns. It may have gone way back to my fairy tale time, which lasted pretty long with me because I loved them. So the sweet fairy tales, not the nasty ones.
Yeah, I never liked those either.
We are here to, well, why are we here? To answer health questions. That is one thing. To empower you with more knowledge so that you can make the right choices in your life, food-wise, in well, anything that we come across. I mean, we're just sharing. And you can pick up some nuggets here and there and see what works for you. And sometimes I found that there's still so much to learn about what our original food is, but I'm very happy to say that I see more and more information coming out, and I think that's pretty perfect.
Yep, absolutely.
That is, yeah, I absolutely love that. I did some grocery shopping yesterday, and we came to the conclusion that one orange cost $1.40.
Oh my.
One organic orange. I was like, okay, it is a good thing that when you are on all fruit, you don't need that much. So that actually helps, because yeah, it is you look at your it's not even a liter. I didn't make it to a liter. And these were very juicy, so that was a good thing. So it had 6 oranges in it.
That's good. The oranges we have been getting, they between 9 and 10 of them make 32 ounces, whereas before it was every bit of 13 to 15 oranges. And I spoke to our guy when I was there last week, and he said they're going to have oranges all through the winter. And last year I was pretty sure they didn't, and they, at least if they did, the ones that we were getting, they just didn't taste good. So we're going to move over to the apples for fall through December probably, and then maybe into winter.
Yeah. I also have to look into, and I had some frozen watermelon, which I did not like at all. I have to see what happens if I freeze the watermelon juice and make watermelon juice and then freeze them like in ice cubes and see how tasty that is, because you can keep frozen stuff for up to 6 months.
We froze orange juice and it was okay. It definitely is not fresh, but it'll work if we need it to.
Definitely. And I mean, you do what you can. And like I said, I had maybe 8 ounces of orange juice now, and I'm kind of satisfied. That holds me for a few more hours, and I have more, so I can sip whenever I like it. But it's like when you look at and you just start your transition to all raw and mostly fruit, and you think, oh my God, this is so expensive and you need to eat that much, you will find that once you are on fruit, you definitely need less. And with fruit, you don't eat until you're full, and it's like, oh my God, I ate too much. How often did we say that when we ate cooked food?
All the time.
Yeah, and then it was so good, and then you end up with kind of a bloated feeling and stomach ache, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, it's gonna last for 2 hours, then it's gone. It's like, why the heck did we do that?
You're even doubting your life, rethinking everything when you're that full.
Yeah, it's no fun. You cannot do anything,
Yeah. Oh, that's Sherry said
Well,
she used 4 oranges today for breakfast. That's awesome, Sherry.
yeah, Sherry, you're doing good. It's a good start.
Yep.
Better than your coffee.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't even if I start to think about coffee anymore, I start to get a headache. And I don't know, just even maybe just me, but even my own thoughts are just that powerful that if I start to think about coffee, it hurts my head. But I can tell, like, I love the smell of coffee. I think it smells amazing, but yeah, definitely not thinking about drinking
Yeah,
that
I don't.
anytime.
I haven't had coffee in many years, and I don't even like the smell anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the same as with the barbecue smell, and it was like, and no, it smells like that.
We ride around in our little neighborhood and you'll smell a grill and people are like, oh my God, it smells good. I said, you're only smelling the spices. You're not actually smelling the charred meat and the
Nope,
death that they're
nope,
cooking on there.
nope.
So right there, you're telling me that, I've only known one true meat eater in my life that liked meat just plain as can be, and with nothing on it, and pretty rare. And he is unfortunately no longer with us. So that was my stepdad. But everyone else I know likes dipping sauce and seasonings and everything like that too. One more other thing I wanted to say real quick was my mom, like I said, we were on our juice and my mom only had orange juice yesterday, like her 132-ounce orange juice. And I talked to her. I was with her late afternoon and she goes, I'm still not hungry. I said, well, then don't eat.
No, that's how it goes. I mean, your body heals better if you don't add anything to it. So it's always okay to not eat and not feel like, oh my God, now I don't get my vitamins and my minerals. And it's like, don't worry about it. I see a question from Katie, and it's interesting because nowadays when I send out, once I talk to my clients and I make this herbal protocol, I send a file that is a total of 50 pages. And in that file, Katie, I have a chart about teeth, about what are the teeth related to. And I got really interested in that. When I was 19, I was 19 years old, 6 weeks after I gave birth to my daughter. I had my first, what they called in the Netherlands, a gallbladder attack. Lots of pain. I didn't know what it was. I managed to go on for a year with that until even a sip of water was like the gallstones were kind of flying wherever they were not supposed to be. And I had an emergency surgery. Now, around that same time, I had a problem with one tooth. And I don't know the, the names for these teeth in English. But if I look at the chart, it is the number, on one side, it's called the number 13, and on the other one, it's 23. And that tooth was bad, and it was always hurting. But it took me 8-9 years to finally do something. And they took it out and they put a crown on. It is actually kind of a crown, but they also filed off the 2 teeth next to it to put that on. Well, lo and behold, that is exactly, that tooth relates to the liver and the gallbladder. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, there is something to it. So what other tea do I have that is giving me issues? And yeah, I found one that is related to connective tissue, elbow, shoulder. And so I'm not going to name them all, but I have a beautiful big chart. It's an image that I put nowadays in the herbal, I call it herbal protocol, and a little more, 50 pages total, a little. And I think that would be, I think everybody would actually be interested in that. So I have to see if I can. I probably have to put it on one of my websites to so that you can get it. Otherwise, email me and I'll send you the image.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very interesting, actually. And Katie, what I can also do is send you the whole new protocol overview that I have, and it may actually answer more questions. It's not only the tea chart I have in there, but also the iridology, the iris, and the sclera. Because the sclera, the white part of your eye, people don't think much about it, but sometimes we have, like it's a little brownish, or you can see a little like a vein going there. And that connects to something that is not just there for the heck of it. It's telling you something. So that chart is also in this file. Now I'm going to add more stuff to it and kind of, maybe sell it like an ebook to people I know. I'm not going to publish it further. I probably need permission to use these images. And sometimes I don't even know where they come from. But for amongst us, it's just for the work that I did. I think I would sell them. But other than that, here and there, and an image is we should. I can share those. So send me an email.
Mm-hmm. The one thing too about teeth that I've been kind of I haven't been researching it here lately, but in the past I have. Our teeth are definitely the canary in the coal mine, meaning that supposedly back in the day they would use a canary, and if the canary died, then that was a first alert for the miners to get out of the mine. And so our teeth are per se that too for us. So if you're seeing stuff wrong with your teeth, there's stuff going on throughout the body, as Toni was saying. And also too, a lot of us should have, like gaps in our teeth or good spacing over generations per the way we've been eating and how we've lived, and just our lifestyles have caused our teeth to become more crowding and our bone structures and all kinds of stuff. So our teeth are definitely not how God intended them to be designed in our mouth, technically. From what I've been reading. But again, we are like where we are, and stay on your journey, and your body will start to go back the way it's supposed to be, but we just don't know exactly how long that's going to take, because each individual person is at a different level of toxicity that they need to detox out. So no two people can really be alike. I, for example, have on both sides of my family, they don't have the best of teeth, but I've never had any issues with my teeth. I've had cavities as a kid, but, a lot of people, have like extensive work done in their mouth and whatnot. And I've been very fortunate to not have to. And I grew up drinking sodas and eating cheeseburgers and everything as well too. But what I've done moving forward is definitely trying to have a more alkaline diet, and obviously a mucusless diet as well too.
And it's not only the teeth that can show you what's going on in your body, even before things are happening. That is exactly what has happened with the iridology. It's like in the iris, we can see things that have not manifested yet. You do not have the symptoms yet. And when I was told, and I think I mentioned that before, when my eyes were red and I was told that I had issues with my stomach, I was like, no, I don't. Never have issues with my stomach.
Hmm.
But wait long enough.
Here it is.
Yeah, and I do now. Now I've been on so much fruit, and I can feel it that there is an issue, and so it only means you have to stay on all fruit, because the more you are on all raw, the less option you have to even eat any cooked food, because it's not feeling right. It doesn't feel right in any part of my GI tract. And I can feel it now more than ever before. And that is a good thing. It's not that now it shows more, but now I'm more aware of it. You know, we are always so busy and not paying any attention to what is going on in our body. And we should. And one thing that I also have in this protocol part is an overview with the 7 stages of disease. Because people say, I was so healthy and all of a sudden I have cancer. That's not how it works, you know. I don't believe that you had no symptom whatsoever and then have cancer. It's, you know, there have been little things that we are actually not really aware of, or think it is normal, like having a headache. Who doesn't have a headache in their life, you know? But should we have headaches? No, we shouldn't. You know, in you know, a bout of diarrhea or ongoing constipation, is it, you know, and you think, oh well, once it's gone, once it's over, then you're fine again, and you don't pay attention. You know, when you're easily out of breath, it's like, oh yeah, but that only happened once. Yeah, until all of a sudden you have this heart attack. It happened to me. And I was, you know, when you're young, you feel invincible. It's like nothing can happen to you, and it's all okay, and you don't pay attention to anything. You don't pay attention to any little pain. It's like, oh, get over it, you know, nothing's going on. The pain is a signal. And when you do not listen to it, you go through these 7 stages. And I'll read you the 7 stages. One is enervation. The second one is toxicosis. I had not heard that word before, but it says the blood and tissues become loaded with the uneliminated toxic materials from the body metabolism, and or from toxins taken in from processed foods, drinks, drugs, etc., which we have all done, not knowing how bad things are. The third level is irritation. Irritation takes the form of itchiness. Who never had, you know, itchiness, edginess, uncomfortable feelings, etc. A burst of activity will result in an effort to rid the body of these unwanted irritants. Now, if you wonder what are irritants, and I talked about that yesterday with Sherry, and it was about coffee. Coffee and even tea, regular tea, are irritants in your body. So, and then people, and then the body wants to get rid of it, and these are the commonly referred to as cold and flu symptoms. So the 4th stage is inflammation. Now, I pretty much hear everybody about having inflammation. In inflammation, the toxicants have usually been concentrated in an organ or area for a massive explosive effort. Now, this is often a part in the body that is a weaker part. That can be, you know, from our parents, or maybe a part where when you were young, or at some point in your life, you had some trauma. And so it's usually a weaker part. It says here, inflammation is a healing activity and eliminated effort. The 4th stage of disease is the body's most intense effort to cleanse and restore itself. Now, when we don't listen to that, and we try to take all kinds of medications and herbs too. I mean, turmeric is one, and turmeric with black pepper is one of the most widely used, while black pepper is actually an irritant. So now we can get to ulceration. That's the 5th stage. And during this stage, poisonous matters have begun destroying cells and cellular organizations, tissues. The body may use an ulcer as an outlet for extraordinary toxic buildup, thereby relieving itself. It will heal the ulcer if causes are discontinued, or if the toxicity level is lowered significantly. And this is what you do when you start on your detox diet. I was actually going back and forth in email with someone from Dr. Morse's office about using the word, detox. Because I feel that, a detox diet, I would rather see it as a healing diet, because when you detox, you heal. We know that now, but that word detox, it is commercially used everywhere. You have, 3-day detox, you have a 24-hour detox. It doesn't mean anything. And really, people absolutely do not understand what in that way a detox means. You can go into even the regular grocery stores or Walmart. They have detox pills. It's not doing anything. Then you have level 6 is induration. This is a hardening where the body creates tuberous tissues. I have to get this closer to my eyes. It is printed in a light gray on yellow, but not too clear. Okay, induration, level 6. This is a hardening where the body creates tumorous tissue, scar tissue, to bridge the lost tissue and to encapsulate the poisonous materials that are destroying it. The ulcer and the toxic materials are scaled off by the hardening of the tissue around them. This is, we know a lot of people deal with that in the stomach, in your GI tract, part of the colon. A lot of people have colon issues. And if you keep ignoring that and you keep putting toxic materials and irritants, well, it's a toxic material actually, in your body, then the next level is near that level 7, which is cancer. So to me, it seemed like there have been a lot of signs already that the body is not healthy. So that is where you get to that level 7 and that final stage of disease. The body's vitality is at a very low ebb. Cells are no longer under the control of the body's master control system, the brain. They multiplied widely in an unorganized manner without purpose. Now that last part that I just read, that is actually where Dr. Morse sees that a little different, because the way he explains it is that when people had cancer, and then they are in so-called remission, and he said the whole remission idea is nonsense. But okay, they are in remission 3 months, 6 months, sometimes, to a year. And then all of a sudden the cancer is back. But now it was when somebody had breast cancer, like I have my mother as an example. Now, all of a sudden it's in the lungs, it's in the bones, and that's, end of life. In her case, it definitely was, and it was not an easy death to, I think that death is never easy. It should be easy, actually, but in her case, it wasn't. And it has to do a lot with the chemo, with all the toxicity added to your body. So when you have cancer and you think that the radiation and the chemo all helps, now it actually killed more in your body. So it is just that the toxicity is so high, the body cannot heal it anymore. And there is still a chance that when you go on all fruit, that's at least what I would do, to see if you can get some of the toxicity out, and you can keep living. But that is where the cancer then shows up in weaker areas that have been weakened by the previous treatment for cancer. Okay, that were my 7 levels. And now I've done enough talking, Sarah. Your turn.
And you definitely tell us where those levels are posted so we can look at them. But
yeah, I do send them to everybody I talk to. So it is it would be a good thing actually to have that. And I will put that in the show notes where that can be found.
Awesome.
Because I do feel if you only have it, you know, you print it out, put it on your fridge door if you have a family and they don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, with the teeth, you know, if one of your kids, and can be your adult kids or family members, they have certain areas, certain teeth that are getting really back, and you show them that chart, and it's like, and you've heard, you know, somebody that had stomach issues, for instance, it's like, oh my gosh, look at that, you know, your stomach relates to that tooth, and that tooth is giving you issues.
Mm-hmm.
So people, what you can do is make the people around you more curious, and you know what is out there, how can they relate to certain things, because if we tell them you need to eat fruit to be healthy, they look at you as like if you have 7 hats. That's not going to work anyway.
Nope. I was going to say too that it is, especially with Jacob's comment here, it is hard to see someone with cancer. He lost his dad and his father-in-law. I'm very sorry to hear about that, Jacob. I lost my stepdad earlier this year, and that is, it's very hard, you know. You just, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. But it's a burden and a blessing to know everything that we do know, because it is so hard to stand on the sideline and watch your loved one go through this. And when they're saying, I'm going to go ahead and take chemo, or I'm going to do this or that, and it's almost like all the air is like sucked out of you, like you're suffocating, because you're literally just watching them go through the process. And it's like, you feel like I have the information to help you, but you don't want to take it. And, you know, so that's where the burden of it comes in, is it's so hard to watch. But the blessing is that our experiences and our gnosis are touching, like right now, 14 people, but there'll be many more people that watch it later. But, you know, then we talk to you all, and then you all go out and pass it on too. So we're at such a very critical time in the world right now where people are waking up, and there is a change. It is very slow, but, you know, we're the pioneers of it. So we have to continue, and we have to go. And even though it's very hard, these are just more experiences that we can take out into the battlefield with us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sharing what you know is important, but we have to do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And it's plant. We all know about the planting of seeds. You know, at some point in their life, they are like, "Oh my gosh, what did Toni say about that? Yeah, I have to ask her, or find things about it."
Yep. And the best thing too is it's simple. It really is simple. So if it sounds complicated, just make note in your head. Maybe don't argue with the person at that point, but just make some notes in your mind and be like, okay, I'm going to go maybe look into this more. That sounded way too detailed and complicated, because the process of God's plan is simple. And yeah, the kids are bombarded and everything at school with the theory base and the education, but we all have that spark and that light of God within us. So when we hear truth, or we see the light in the darkness, we are all drawn to it. And so that's all we can do, is we got to make our lights brighter so we can help light everyone else's God spark within them as well too. Even though they're bombarding us, just keep the path and keep shining your light for more and more people to come.
Yeah, be that light.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I was going to say real quick too is, aren't tumors kind of like your last body's line of defense? Whereas people see a tumor as it's really bad, but the tumor is your body's defense system, where they've created this tumor to try to gather all the bad from preventing it from spreading throughout the body. Is that true?
Yeah, I would think so. It kind of encapsulated. It's already known, even in the medical industry, that when you cut in a tumor, you create more problems, than sometimes. And sometimes you have to. Sometimes a tumor is so big that it's causing issues on other organs. I mean, Dr. Morse is not totally against about, cutting in the body when it's absolutely necessary. So we definitely, no one would absolutely would say that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be careful. And that is why, we don't like biopsies. It's like, okay, you do a biopsy and then if it's what it is and if it's aggressive or not. So if it's not that aggressive, you don't need to worry. Yes, you do. Every sign of any tumor, benign or cancerous, it's not supposed to be there. You have to do something about it. It is a sign that your body is not in health. Your body is acidic. Otherwise, it wouldn't cause, like boils and cysts and cancerous tumors.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to do something. I saw a question about remineralizing teeth. You did a large or a long teeth video, so I'll let you answer that one.
I don't know so much about like remineralizing them, but it's just the rebuilding, and it's allowing your body to just go in and do the process. And of course, that is eating non-acid forming foods, basically. I know the first thing people say is like, well, aren't lemons? Well, no, lemons are actually really good for our teeth. I don't think I would like suck on a lemon all day long or anything like that, but your lemon juice or things like that are good. And so is the orange juice and whatnot. Again, just more lies that we've been spread, and just keeping the other thing that I heard the other day too, from Dr. Morse, one of his videos, which I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was recent. Cavities and whatnot can also be caused from having too much lymphatic backup in your face and in your head as well. So again, having the orange juice and having those really good pulling fruits that you're drinking, getting that backed up lymph out of your head and getting it out of your body, of course, making sure your kidneys are filtering properly first so it has somewhere to go, and eating your fruits, and definitely staying away from mucusless foods too. As far as like brushing or putting anything on your teeth, I've not necessarily researched too much about like hydrogen peroxide or even using baking soda, which is oh wow, that name just went, sodium bicarbonate. Yeah. By using that on your teeth too. I think I just heard Dr. Morse say something too about maybe like kind of packing that onto the gums a little bit, but please don't quote me. I think that was just from the video you literally just sent me, Toni. Just things like that, or doing like a swish of the sodium bicarbonate in your mouth, of course, aluminum free, and things like that. But be very, very gentle with your teeth. Only floss if there's something in there, and be very gentle on your gums. Pull away from your gums if you have anything stuck up in there, and drink plenty of good distilled water and your fruit juices, and stay away from the big ones that cause a lot of acid anyway.
The interesting thing with teeth is that when you eat all fruit, your teeth feel clean. They kind of shiny. There's nothing stuck on it. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to brush. And I know of people, they brush absolutely after every meal. They brush their teeth because otherwise the teeth feel kind of rough and like stuff is on there. And that only happens when you eat fats and proteins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cooked food, even fat-free cooked food will cause it. It's amazing how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you eat fruit, you realize like, I don't even have to brush my teeth. There's nothing on it.
Yes, we've talked about that a few times where I mean, I don't. And why does that feel so taboo to tell people that I don't brush my teeth?
Yeah, because we have been told, brushing 3 times a day. And throughout my life, I was like, well, once a day is enough in the morning.
I have someone that is very close to me that obsessively brushes their teeth like probably more than 3 times a day. They have completely removed their enamel from their teeth, and their teeth are like thin, and of course they have issues. And it's like, stop brushing.
And
But
it
yeah,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you would say. It's
yeah,
it
yep.
is they have been told by the authorities in this case, wearing a white lab coat like doctors do, dentists do, and that makes them an authority, and we have been trained to listen to that because they do know better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we are the only one responsible for our bodies. We are the only one responsible for our health. Now, a sad thing happened this week with a young boy who has had so many surgeries already, GI tract issues, testicle issues, and he's a kid.
Oh.
And he wanted to go on all fruit to get rid of the pain. And now, what is it? Protective Health Services is getting involved because he's not eating the way the government wants him to eat.
Mm. Is he under
And
government custody, or
no,
parents are fighting?
but nowadays doctors can do, if they don't like what they see or they hear that a kid is on only fruit to heal, they see that as abnormal, and then you get those involvements.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was another
that
thing,
is a
Dr.
sad
Morse.
thing. So there you go with being responsible and in control of your own body. In some cases, you can't. And as a mother, I can see where that is extremely, extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm. There was a comment from Katie earlier about the clothing, where we were kind of talking about last week. I did talk about in the comments while we were talking about not mixing linen and wool. They carry the frequency of 5,000 if they're wore separately together. And I also linked that study, The Life-Giving Linen, in the comments as well too. But Katie was asking, I released last week's show into Charlie's comments in his Friday Night Live about the materials our clothes are made of. And she says, I will pay more attention to what my clothes are made from before purchasing, but for the ones I have now, should I get rid of them? Katie, what kind of materials are you referring to that you do have currently? I mean, I don't have anything leather. I mean, maybe I have a leather coat from like probably the 90s still somewhere, but
So
that just kind of wasn't popular.
that is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I have my leather motorcycle stuff.
Right, but I mean, it's what are you going to do with it though? You already have it though. So I mean, I have leather purses that are from probably years and decades ago, and I'm sure I have leather shoes still, but it's very hard to especially find stuff that's not made of leather at this time. But you really just have to, like we say with everything, do the best that you are able, to do with what you have and what you have available to you as well. Silk, jeans, and rayon. I mean, I still wear jeans, even though we're not, that's not a good quality, what's it called? Material. Charlie calls them our prison garb. But
yeah, well, what am I gonna wear if I don't wear my jeans?
I know. I mean, in the cold, I do wear like leggings and usually under my jeans, but those kinds of things. I haven't made that transition at this point, me personally, but in the summertime though, and obviously the warmer months, it's much easier, I feel. But definitely, like, if you can start purchasing like linens and hemp and I mean, I don't know how I feel about wool. I don't purchase wool, period. I know we've had that discussion too. If you don't shear the sheep, it dies anyway. So I don't know. That's really like a decision you can make. Maybe where you live, there's like some sheep farmers. that you can go and talk to, and maybe they'll even teach you how to shear or something like that. But the sheep do need to be sheared at this point because their wool will grow continuously. It will never stop.
Yeah, I was watching a video and it was actually very nice. And they explained they had a few sheep and they are shorn once a year. It takes them 5 minutes, the shearing, and then they have a beautiful, absolutely beautiful wool.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a way, I am like, okay, it is not natural, but for thousands of years, it has been done. And do I want to look at it as bad? Are these animals suffering because of that wool? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like wool a lot. Now I don't live in a cold climate anymore, so there is no need to it. But my God, did I enjoy spinning the wool and then dyeing it with certain herbs to get colors. And I think everybody in my family and my friends, they were all wearing the sweaters that I had knitted from the wool that I spun myself and dyed myself. And it was a pleasure. And then you see that these things, they last for, if they are treated the right way, they last for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. They will. I mean, I'm not against the wool. I've just not had a need for wool. But I've seen I guess the darker side of the wool industry, especially like brands, the 3-letter brand that's very popular in the States, where they use like the sheepskin and the wool lining, that kind of stuff. That's pretty dark. But thousands of years ago, the sheep didn't continually grow their wool to where they will die, because if a sheep's wool grows big enough or thick enough, whatever, they'll just fall over and then they'll die because they can't get up. And then not to mention urine, and they can't see anymore. So yeah, it has to be, I guess you're at a catch-22 really with wool.
Yeah, in a way it is. Sue asked about bamboo. Now, bamboo is one of the fastest growing things that is out there, and it's very cheap. And you can make pretty much anything and everything out of bamboo. But I don't know how it is being processed. I have no idea.
I don't either.
No, I would have to dig into that. You would think it is a natural fiber. It doesn't hurt the planet, the earth, like cutting trees do, because it's like with rayon. It's cellulose. It's wood cellulose. Now, is it a byproduct, or is it actually, do they cut the trees to make the fiber? And I wouldn't even be surprised about that, because rayon, it handles like silk. I love to work with rayon, and I love to wear it, actually, because that is for my years as a fashion designer. It was, it was cheaper than silk. It felt like silk, and I liked it even better than cotton.
Mm-hmm.
But it is processed, unbelievable. But back then it was important for me. I mean, I'm talking about when did I start with my boutique? I think it was I was always making clothes already, late 70s. We had my first boutique. Yeah, it was actually in the 70s when my daughter was 2 years old. So talking about 73.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all the way into natural fabrics. This is a fun thing about when you talk about fabrics. I started my career with in fashion, if you want to call it that one, in clothing making. I made clothing, recycled actually, dresses from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and I made something new out of it.
Wow.
And that was mostly, it was natural fabrics, because until the 50s, they didn't come with all synthetics, 50s, 60s.
That's really
But
neat.
rayon goes way back. That was way back.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I do know about bamboo is the stuff you've already said, but don't plant it in your yard. You'll never get rid of it.
No, I did. It's gone now.
It took forever to get rid of it. We even had to go to the neighbor's yard and dig it out of their yard.
Yeah, we had to dig it out because it looked wild, and if it was, I don't know, you have different kinds of bamboos, and I kind of love the wild look of it, but the HOA, the homeowners association, did not like it.
Yeah. If you are gonna plant it in like a big one of those metal water troughs or something for animals, so that way it's contained, and then it's better to be managed that way. Or plant it between some, maybe like two concrete paths or something, because it sends shoots underground and out, and they go far. So that's the main thing I know about bamboo. Let's see, there's another question in here. What about water or juices passed through limestone?
Yeah, I've heard Dr. Morse talking about minerals from water, what goes through limestone and other things underground. It can be too much. It is hard to say. I years ago I learned that the cleanest water was that came out of the sky and went into the soil and was filtered through whatever was underground and then popped up in some kind of a spring, and that was the healthy water. I One time we were with a few friends on a motorcycle in the Black Hills in South Dakota, and all of a sudden they stopped at the side of the road, and there was a small trickle of water coming out. It was like in between grass, and there was a little water coming out, and they were like, "Oh, come on, we got to get some water here." And we had, and a few bottles with us, and they were filled up, and that you could drink that water. It was clean. It was delicious, and they were like, "This is the cleanest water that you can get." Well, nowadays I don't trust anything like that anymore. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, the spring water should be okay if it doesn't go to industrialized areas. So it's difficult to say. With limestone, I would say limestone is actually soft. Wouldn't that get a lot of it in the water and then gets in your body, and it's like an inorganic material that your body cannot use? I wouldn't drink it.
We use limestone. Actually, I don't use it anymore, but in the horse industry, they use it to dry up the stalls from the urine. So,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I would ingest it.
Well, there was an area where I lived part of my teenage years in near the German border, and you had in Bentheim in Germany, you had like castles, and they were built from limestone. You had these big limestone pits there.
Aren't there limestone like hot springs as well too?
I don't know.
I feel like there is. So I mean, maybe soaking in like a natural limestone, like hot spring or something, might be different than actually drinking water that runs through limestone. I don't have any information on that either, but that could be maybe another question to look into.
Yeah, when we are thinking about, what you can put on your body or drink it, how much different this is. But like we know it's healthy to swim in the ocean, salt water. Draws toxins out. But when we drink salt water, we get sick. So now I mentioned to you, Sarah, that I had a haircut, the first one in 40 years, something. And it is kind of short. And they were like, "Oh, you need to use some that bulks it up a little, that's so it's not so flat, and then you can put." And I don't want to put any junk in it. They have all kinds of foams, and then you see these pretty haircuts and how they can look, and it's like, nah. And then I found something, and that was organic. They call it organic, a sea salt. It had sea salt and tea tree on it. Now, tea tree is pretty aggressive to put that on your skin. And I'm like, okay, what would happen actually if you have something with sea salt? You put it on your head. It still gets in your body, but maybe it's filtered out.
I don't know. But I don't know. That'd be another one we have to look at.
The things they come up with for your hair, instead of just letting it be what it is, we always want something different.
Mhm.
But my hair was definitely due a good haircut because I always had long hair, and if it was kind of thinning on the bottom, I was like, oh, okay, just cut it straight. And now I was like, let's do something different.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes it's good to change it up.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. You
Mhm.
have to do things in your life that make you feel different, make you feel good. And it's all part of enjoying your life and
Mhm.
and healing. I mean, since we always talk about foods and the things that we shouldn't do, but it's other little things that make part of your enjoyment in your life.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And of course, the first thing that somebody said, actually, I think it was I think it was my husband or maybe a friend who said, "Oh, you look 10 years younger." And I was
Ah,
like,
that's cool.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that's always
No
good.
comments.
Oh, Alistair is talking about hemp seeds seem to be the new upcoming plant for paper, fuel, and building products. And hemp is, it's a wonderful reusable resource as well. And hemp can be very strong and whatnot too. So I know a lot of people look at it as it's like cannabis or whatnot, but there are so many different, uses for hemp too. And it's a good renewable resource too.
It was used for anything and everything way back. I think it's almost 100 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And it is amazing what you can do with it. It's like, I have t-shirts made from hemp.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? Hemp rope has been used for, oh my gosh, hundreds of years.
Yeah. I hear there was
So,
even a hemp car too, and it was indestructible,
yeah.
which I don't know where to. I believe Charlie was the one that talked about it, but I've not read about that. But yeah, the car was indestructible as well.
Was it actually Henry Ford that came out with that?
I think that's who he was
Yeah.
talking about at that
Yeah.
time with,
Yeah.
Henry and H. I don't want to get banned on the show, but yep. Henry's best friend H from Germany.
Yeah. It's
Let's see. Katie says, guess what I've been doing this week? Telling everyone about chickens not having a daily menstrual cycle. This was new information I learned from you last week in the show. That was fascinating. Yeah, it's very true. And again, that's why we were talking. I mean, I know you said you worked in the mall too, and it's just a great way. It seems like God has put you in a good position to where you can use your talent to spread the word, spread the truth. That's wonderful.
we're learning something new every day, even here on the show from the people that come on.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing, and the funny thing is, well, funny, it's actually interesting, is some information, it seems to come out of the blue. You weren't even looking for it, and then there it is. And it's like, I tell people, like, the teacher, no, it was it yeah, the teacher appears when the student is ready.
That is so true. I will sit there sometimes and I'll be like, I feel like I'm ready for that next level. But then once I quote level up to something, I realized I wasn't ready at the time when I thought I was ready. And the craziest things happen too. I mean, just even for us, or the connection with Charlie and Colleen and stuff. I mean, I had been following them for a long time and listening to Toni and Justin's show. And then it wasn't like until things clicked into place that I started actually speaking with Charlie and Colleen and then Toni. And I'd even talked to Justin a few times, even on his channel, but it wasn't like it was right, or the right time, I should say. And then when it was, everything cleared, and here we are.
Yeah, that's a beautiful part of life.
Mm-hmm.
I see actually I see more and more beauty around me every day
Yes, I do too. I
in
do
in
too.
in, in little things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I finally have butterflies in my yard again. And I'm in total awe. It was a monarch butterfly,
Mm,
and it kept coming back.
yep. I found the picture of the monarch. Um, what do they call cocoons that they build? Yeah. I'll have to send it, or I'll post it on my Instagram. So there's a Virtuous Unicorns Instagram channel too, if anyone is interested. But I'll post that picture there over on Instagram. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not really on Instagram. There are so many things that like you have to go there and there and there, and I get messages everywhere. And
I'll
then I
post it
was like,
everywhere.
yeah, and then I am, my God, I saw a message from someone, but I'm looking on Telegram, on Messenger, on WhatsApp, on MeWe, on the Facebook, and it's like, where the heck is it?
Yep.
It's like you need some one centralized thing to have all this.
Yeah. I'll post it on a Freak Sense World as well. So then that way everybody in
Yeah.
Telegram. I don't have Telegram on my phone and I don't have Facebook. So anytime I use Telegram, I have to be on my computer.
Oh,
So
that I need to let people know that Charlie or Colleen, it's under Colleen's name, is
that's
back
great.
on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. They are.
So if you look up Colleen Kylo, Kyllo, you can find her there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's Charlie. Charlie is posting.
Yeah. She's on a detox. Yeah, Katie says she takes her in shampoo to a haircut appointment because she knows I'm on a detox journey. That is such a good way to put it to most people, because then they'll respect that more, that you're detoxing, and they'll be more open to it than just I'm on a more fruit journey or whatever. Then a lot of people have a lot of questions on that.
It's this was the first time that a hairdresser or hairstylist was not washing my hair before, and I had forgotten my shampoo. She just wet it and then cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was easy, and it took less than half an hour.
That's wonderful.
Okay, Jacob, you asked me how you can log in on Freak Sense World. You mean the website? Because my gosh, we definitely had issues there, and I haven't talked about it in public because that's actually not what this call is for. But I do want to address it because so many of us here are on that website too. There were ongoing issues, and at one point, I had a programmer telling me you were attacked. And we were like, we have the best using Cloudflare, the best security that is even possible. How can this happen? But over the year that we've been working on, I did work with low cost programmers. I mean, the site was funded by me and a few donations, but not enough to hire a programmer who was asking like, $100 and $300 an hour. But these people did not always come up with the right way to do things. So things can be in coding can be messed up. And they were fired, and other people came in, and that was like, what did they do? Did they build in a back door so they can still mess up? Because if you fire somebody, not everybody likes that. So the issues were ongoing, and sometimes it worked and then it didn't work, and then it worked and then it didn't work, and I was pulling my hair out. See, that's why I had to go to a hairdresser. It was driving me crazy, and I spent endless hours on getting that to work. Right now, it works. Jacob, this is the first that I hear that you can't log in. I don't want to hear that. I would say try another browser, clear your cache, reboot your computer or your phone or whatever you use. See if you can reset a password. If not, please email me or message me, whatever you need to do to get in touch with me, and I manually reset your password, because the others that were saying they couldn't log in can log in. Since yesterday or day before yesterday, everything works. So often I could easily log in. I had no issues. And even with the credentials of login credentials of other people who said they couldn't log in, I could log in. So then it's like, okay, what is it? Is it the browser? Is it your service provider? And are they blocking FreakSense? Because of course we had a time that everything that had the word FreakSense in it, was blocked wherever. And I could not find any blog for myself to here it should all be good. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but send me an email. I will always do my best to get it working. But yeah, it's rather frustrating. And I'm setting up a similar website that will be all around the truths of life, in about health, about happiness. And I'm setting that up personally. So this time I learned in this year with A FreakSense World, I learned enough to be able to do most of it myself. And I had planned on opening it up on September the 1st, and I'm looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's already, we're already way into August. So I don't know if I can do that, but that would be where we can, another site where we can connect. But yeah, I see where you want to lock into FreakSense. And we definitely want to make Charlie part of that new Garden of Eden .social website. That will be beautiful.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for it to be up and running.
Yeah, I haven't done much with it. I have my clients and working on that ebook to get all the information together that people can really use to do the transition into all fruit and the why of all fruit. And it takes time, and the FreakSense site and all the troubles, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So we do our best, but you know how to connect with me. And I see a hair acts as an antenna. I have heard a beautiful story about the reason why Native Americans did not cut their hair. And I love that idea. And I never wanted to cut my hair. I was like, I don't know why I was so against cutting hair. I think some things just come natural. It's like, what it should be and that it should not be cut. Maybe, but I don't know. It's like the same as now going back into food is we were talking about that yesterday with my husband, and about when your baby is getting the first solid foods, and we tell them, we tell ourselves, well, we have to try everything. They just have to get used to it. What nonsense that actually is. How crazy is that? We have this, I was thinking about my daughter, that in the 70s, you had this ultravit. No, I forgot the word again. It's, but it comes in little glass jars, and it's like carrots and potato and meat and all these things. My daughter hated every one of them. There was nothing that she liked. And I was like, well, she has to get used to it. And now you think about it, and it's like, how crazy was that? You give them fruit and they eat it with a smile and they love it and they like more of it. And we want to make them get used to cooked food and meat and try everything out. And I was also reading where, what is it? Where kale and Brussels sprouts and broccoli and cauliflower, and there was another one where it actually comes from. It comes from a wild plant, and they have been working with it to create all these other things. None of these foods, I don't think there is a person in the world, when they taste that food for the first time, they said, I love it and I want more. It was maybe, unless it has it's slathered with all kinds of sauces and pepper and salt and God knows what.
Butter.
Butter, yeah, well, butter sauce. And then to make it edible. And now when you look at it, it's like, how crazy is this? Why why are we not thinking? Why were we like, yeah, but this is normal?
Mm-hmm. That is very true. Well, that's the other reason too. Like the children, they always said, like, I can never get my children to eat vegetables. I'm always having to sneak the vegetables in. Again, the children already know.
They do know. And for us, it was like with kale. Now, the kale that I see here is a little different than the tough curly kale that you see in the Netherlands. And you only ate that when the frost had been over it. That's what they called it. So when you still had the kale in the ground and you had the first night of frost, and after that, it was actually edible. It makes it a little softer. So that means that is something that is not even, you cannot even digest it. So it has to be shredded or cut in tiny, tiny pieces, cooked forever, and then mixed in with mashed potatoes in a meat sauce with pepper and salt in it on it to be able to eat it. Yeah, and then it was okay, it was good, but and you could see the grain and you didn't taste the kale anymore. What are we doing to ourselves?
Yeah. I never liked kale ever. I could never stomach the smoothie.
No.
I could never eat the kale chips. Kale is just disgusting for me. And that other video for Dr. Morse, I think I'm gonna end up posting that too, because there's just so much information in that one video that you sent over. But he talks about asparagus too. Why does our urine smell so bad after eating asparagus? Is it bringing the sulfur out, or is it adding sulfur to us? Like, that's not natural that your urine should smell like that after eating asparagus or eating anything.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. And oh my gosh, I do have asparagus in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Katie's saying that it gives us gas, so that should also be a sign not to eat them. Exactly.
Well, the weird thing happened a few days ago. I was making hummus, and yes, I do know better, but my husband liked it and he can eat it once in a while. And of course, being an all fruit for quite some time, I could not resist and I ate some. Half an hour later, I had gas. How crazy is that? Hadn't had gas on fruit at all, and
Nope.
only after a half an hour. I mean, hummus is, first of all, it has a little garlic in it, and it has cooked beans in it, because whatever it is, you have these beans in a can, they are cooked. And it had a tahini, which is nothing more than sesame seeds, high fat, high proteins, mixed all together, absolutely delicious. And that was the result: bloating and gas. So the body already tells you, you're stupid.
Mm-hmm. And beetroot turns Alistair's urine red.
Now, Alistair, are you eating the beetroots cooked or raw? I'm curious. You don't want to eat anything cooked. If I don't know which one where it was that I read, like about that we eat roots. It's like, first of all, we don't have the nails. Well, some people do. We don't have the nails to dig into the soil, and then eat it as it is with all the soil on it and enjoy it. And yeah, I ate as a kid, teenager, I ate these big carrots. They call them in Dutch, they call them winterpeen. And they were not that great tasting, but the inside, all the way in the middle, there is this long, yeah, I don't know what to call it. That was very sweet and very delicious. So yeah, as a kid, we ate it. We just cleaned it on our clothes and it was like edible.
Well, again, we're drawn to the sweet, and the carrot is what, besides corn, is one of the sweetest of the vegetables there is. Yeah. I had corn over, I think it was a week ago now too, and yeah, corn, it was good, but it doesn't digest. So
no, and you have corn flour, and I wonder, what is corn flour? I mean, it's already made really fine, but I still think it's like a block in our colon. It's not, and you would, I think that Justin posted something about how the food used to be, like bananas that had seeds and how they looked, and
Mhm.
they don't look anything like the bananas nowadays. Now the thing with bananas is they don't help you detox. They do not help you heal. They do help you keep your stomach full if that you feel that you need that. But other than that, no. And half the time nowadays, bananas don't even taste that good.
Well, bananas are only owned, all the bananas that are produced, at least for the United States, only come from a couple companies.
I don't even bananas produced in the United States. I don't
Well,
think they come from outside the US.
maybe I should say distributed to the United States.
Yeah,
Only come from a couple of companies. So
yeah, yeah.
I'd be curious to taste one from like a real
Oh, I did. Here local, I can get bananas here local, and I decided no more. Those are these tiny bananas, and one day they are green and hard and you cannot eat them, and the next day they are brown, yeah, yellow brown and soft inside, and then they are edible. Are they really delicious? Yeah, not really. So it's not all fruit, that grows the way it's supposed to grow, um, that it tastes that much better.
Mhm.
It's the same with mangoes, I rarely get good mangoes. Hey guys, we are over an hour, and I see it is 111 today. The
Perfect time.
magical numbers. So we're gonna say till the next time soon.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so
Yeah.
much for being in the chat today. We love when it's very active like that. And we'd love to hear from you all. So maybe next time somebody could call in. That'd be great.
Yeah, I always put the link out there, and if you like to listen to us chatting away so much, then okay, stay quiet. But we love to hear from you guys too. What are your experiences? What are you doing? How do you do it? And like I said, we love to learn about you guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. Your
So
stories are help us,
yeah.
learn even more too. So, yep.
So thank you all for being here again, and we love you. We love doing this. Always look forward to it, and thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Toni.
And yeah, till the next time. I'm already looking forward to it.
Me too. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye bye.